Yes! It is Wednesday, Obsessive Sneaker Disorder, episode 347. D. Wells, along with the Sole Doctors and Disorderlies. Thank you for tuning in as you do. We have a brand show just for you. My goodness, it is finally warming up. It is prior to Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, you've been able to wear your sneakers, wear your. Wow! It's about damn time. This is OSD, Obsessive Sneaker Disorder, episode 347. My name is D. Wells, along with the Sole Doctors and Disorderlies. Thank you for tuning in. We are ready to rock with you, talk with you, talk sneakers, the culture, and all that good stuff. So we're going to get right to it. No delaying, no half-stepping. We always talk that good stuff. Not afraid to talk about the sneaker culture that we love oh so dearly. Yes, sometimes people act fugazi, act a little stupid, but guess what? That's where we come in to set the record straight. So, you ready? You ready? Yeah, we ready. We're about to get in and kick it off on the good foot. Let's go straight to Brooklyn, USA, straight to the one and only Mr. Paper Chaser himself. Man, I hope he is ready for summer. I know he's ready for summer. There's no denying. I know he's ready for summer. What's up, man?
I'm good. Sitting in a new humble abode, so I'm ready to roll through the show. Are we on? This thing on?
This thing is definitely on.
This thing on. All right. So, welcome to episode number 347 of Obsessive Sneaker Disorder. Once again, the OG Sneaker Talk show. We are back. We have some very interesting topics to discuss on the show this week. I have to send a special shout out to the good folks over at the Sneaker Box Podcast for having me on some time ago, a few days ago, in regards to, discussing the origins of OSD and our philosophy and, just figuring out what, wanting to know and share with their audience what gave us the body of work and the longevity that we have in sneakers, especially with so many people being fly by night. So shout out to Caesar and the rest of the crew over there for having me on to discuss our history and our philosophy and how OSD conducts themselves. So salute to you guys. Thank you. I hope you guys, audience, and from what I'm seeing on Twitter, I see people really do enjoy or have enjoyed my interview with you guys. So shout out to Detroit, know you guys over there, Nojo Kicks, and everybody that's a part of the Sneaker Box Podcast. Check them out.
What was that like for you? Was it? I mean, I had an opportunity to sit down and listen to the entire show to finish. I mean, those cats over there are definitely doing, like you said, salute to them. They're doing a great show. They love, they have good back and forth banter. They have good chemistry. And then you come on and you basically said, okay, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is how I enjoy kicks. What was that experience being on kind of the flip side?
Well, when it's time for us to discuss OSD, I always make sure that it's from an objective point of view that people can understand what it is that we do, like right now, this time for the last 8 years, and an important method to our madness. I think with us being elder statesmen in the game, we are kind of irresponsible if we don't, every chance we get, share why we've been able to be around so long in the midst of all the bullshit that goes on in the sneaker industry, on the business side and the culture side. Something grounds us. We're the ground wire to the current going either way. And people really want to know how we're able to do that and still have the same level of commitment and passion that we've had all these years. Right. When it's time to talk about that, I don't think about it as a me or what kicks do I really want to discuss and that stuff. Like, if you notice in the beginning of the show, I was on for a while and I wasn't saying anything. I was just listening to them banter about in regards to their topic, which was, of course, again, Kanye West and his impact versus, pick an athlete or a sport.
Right.
So banter on for a while. I was on for a while just listening, and my mic was live and everything, but when I called in, I was live and ready to go, but I chose to sit back and say nothing and listen to them because I wanted to know if it was going to remind me of us in the early days, and it did, because at the end of the day, it's like I told them, right, wrong, and indifferent, your opinion represents that of somebody out there. So
True.
you need to take that seriously. And I think that's one of the things that they realize that we've had all these years on the show is you're going to feel one way, you're going to side with one person's opinion, but there's somebody out there who doesn't have that voice, so you just spoke for them from another side of the issue or another experience. So if you're going to do this, you need to represent a broad spectrum of people that are into kicks for numerous reasons and have various inspirations and their own stories. You're going to speak to them. So if you have no intention of doing that on a regular basis to the tune of 347 episodes and beyond, then you're doing this for all the wrong reasons, which, you heard me impart on them, because we've seen a lot of people come and do shows and the motivation is not there.
Seen a lot of come, seen a lot of go, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that, like I said on the show, that's no shots fired, but I think they wanted to celebrate our level of commitment to this medium that, you and your harebrained scheme kicked in the door and started, and 8 years later now we're doing this, and there are people who have come along that, one, they thought they could do it better than us. Two,
hey, that's a good thing, because that just makes us step our game up. Let's be honest. Competition is good. I like when I see a McDonald's set up shop across the street from Burger King,
right,
or vice versa,
So one, they thought they could do it better than us. Two, they thought that they were going to be able to take away our core audience. They're going to get all the free kicks in the world and get invited to all the cool guy events. And four, which could really be number one at the end of the day, they thought they were going to make tons of money doing this sneaker talk show. And they came to realize a lot of shows, again, no shots to anybody, because, anyone that's approached us and asked for our advice, or, we've had the honor of being a guest on the show, there's no shots there, there's no ill will, but we're just speaking about the general sense in that, especially in sneakers, people think that they can actually do this better than we do.
Yeah.
And it may appear so for a while, because anything fresh and new, the bright shiny bells and whistles, people are curious and they're going to want to check out. But at the end of the day, people are going to get in the car that they know is going to get them to where they're trying to go. And after a while, when the other stuff becomes slapstick and there's too many detours and sideshows, you're going to lose. And that's what's been happening. There's a lot of detours and sideshows in sneaker culture. There have been too many detours and sideshows in the business. But we're the only ones who have been willing to talk about it, just like it's, as exciting as a new retro Jordan release. So if people don't have that level of commitment, again, which I shared to them, to talk about that side of things, then eventually we're not going to know of you anymore. So, again, I appreciate them having me on to discuss how we do things and, share our philosophy on why we've been able to exist, to the tune of almost 8 years and a couple of months, millions of downloads later, social studies program, teaching at different universities and teaching online around the world. It's just been the kind of thing where it grew from, again, I always say this, and I always say this, to start, the first show with, your rant, if you will. Your subway rant, your 15 to 20 minute, middle of the subway car rant.
That's a good way to put it. And the biggest thing, I went back and listened to it, And my biggest complaint was how Converse was not utilizing and marketing Dwayne Wade very good.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
yeah. And you think about what's happened today. Fast forward, here we are, like you said, soon to be 8 years, and you know, Wade, is he still being marketed? You know, not so smartly. Yeah, but guess what? His biggest core audience is no longer in the United States now.
Right.
You know, he's won a couple of championships. He is a premier player. He's been, you know, he's older now though.
Yep.
Um, and now we have other cats like Kyrie Irving, like Kevin Durant, like um, you know, some of the players I can't. You know, the sad part is some of even the players on the Atlanta Hawks. You know, deep into the playoffs right now. If you ask me to name more than probably 3 players on that Hawks team, I will struggle. But that's what, you know. That's what the youth. That's what the basketball fans. I mean, I can honestly say I haven't really sat down and watched the full game yet in the playoffs. Well, Atlanta Hawks playoff game. I've watched some Cleveland games. I've watched the Celtics when they were still in it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched, obviously, you know, some other games, you know, with Houston. So, but now this culture, you know, that we live and breathe, and the sneakers that are so popular. I mean, we know at some point the refresh button, reset button has to take place because we've been stuck in retro land for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward, now here we are, 2015, and wears a particular type of, you know, Adidas Boost sneakers, and not everyone and their mama wants them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's moving the needle a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And then you have, you know, companies that weren't 8 years ago, nobody was paying attention to them, at least not that much. A company like Skechers, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and now all of a sudden, what are they doing? They're moving left to right. I mean, that stock is performing and doing, you know, it's over $100 a share right now.
Yep.
So,
Don't preview too much, brother. Don't
you
preview
know,
too much.
it's like, man.
Don't preview too much. But of course, and again, I said this on Twitter too. You know, and it always, with moments like, you know, this and we're getting ready to talk about, they always remind me of, you know, that first show where you were like, yo, ring the alarm. Things are different out here. Y'all need to be paying attention. And, you know, I'm just going to read it. You know, I'm just going to read this off, you know, for those who look forward to us reading the stock report every Wednesday, and, you know, folks will still hit us up at some point and say, how do I get in on that?
Right.
When they hear these numbers, they're going to want to get in on this now. So we got Nike finished today's trading at 104.61, down 3 cents per share. Skechers, as D has alluded to, finished at, it's not an error. This is not a numerical mistake.
Man.
Skechers finished at 107 and 1 cent per share on the day,
Money in the
up
bank.
$1.36 per share. So, VF Corporation finished at 71.19, down 26 cents per share. Under Armour finished at $78.50 per share, up 1 cent. Deckers Outdoor Corporation finished at $74.72 per share, up $1.56 per share. What's happening with them? The weather's warm. Foot Locker Incorporated finished at $63.49 per share, up 1 cents per. Adidas AG on the OTC market finished at $42.38, down 1 cent per US dollar rate, currency rate. AG finished on the ETR market at 156.25 in euros, down 3.20. That we got eBay finishing at 50, down 10 cents per. And last but not least, also on the NASDAQ, we got Finish Line finished at 25.85, down 29 cents per share. So again, every week, every Wednesday, live on the show, 10 stocks that we watch and we report. If you want to get in on this aspect of the business, if you want to stop being just a customer, shout out to EPMD. Happy birthday to PMD, by the way. If you want to stop being just a customer, info@osdlive.com. Holler at us. We'll give you all the advice you need to account so that you can begin investing. And just got to be in it to win it. You know, just period, point blank. You need to be in on this side of the business so that when things aren't paying off on the other, when it's hard for you to sell that all those retro Jordans anymore, and those LeBrons and those foams, you can still win by just sitting back and checking your portfolio. Steve Ridiculous G is in the house.
What's up, Dr. Ridiculous?
He looks like he's in meditation mode on the
I know, right? He's probably mesmerized by that Skechers, like Black Rob, like whoa.
He probably heard Warren Buffett earlier today.
Oh, see, that's exactly. We need to get Mr. Buffett on the show ASAP.
He probably already called Warren Buffett and was like, "Look, B, talk to me about Skechers."
Exactly.
So, again, what you created, here we are 8 years later, 2 presidential terms later, and some things have remained the same and some things have changed dramatically. Even just from 2013 to now, Skechers, we were talking about this on the show, had just passed New Balance for the number 5 spot as far as the biggest footwear, quote unquote, footwear brands in America. So now after in 2013 being number 5, knocking New Balance to that number 6 spot, now number 2 in just a year and a half.
Yeah. And this is the same company that we know is well known for knocking off everyone else's sneakers. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They've knocked off Tom's, and they came up with their own version of Bob's.
Yeah.
They've knocked off Nike, Adidas. They've been hit with a number of lawsuits left and right. I mean, Greenberg and Ken Katz. We talk about LA Gear back in the day, which we've had Dwayne Edwards on the show to talk about his days while he was over at LA Gear, and obviously him stuffing the suggestion boxes and stuff like that. But Skechers is not playing around. And then 2013, they had a huge 2014, they had a huge win when Meb won the Boston Marathon wearing what? Skechers. You see the ads now. I was flipping through the Boston Globe, I think about a couple weeks ago, and who do I see but Sugar Ray Leonard in their new ad promoting the Skechers, his line of Skechers running comfort sneakers. And I was like, wow, these cats are again.
Yeah, they've done a crazy job with. To us, it looks kind of cheesy, but maybe it's ringing a bell with people because they had Joe Montana.
Yep.
Broadway Joe. They had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now they got Ringo Starr. Like, they're reaching into this demographic that to us seems bizarre, but it might be ringing a bell with some.
Yeah.
They have a golf line now.
And I'm telling you, I know we got into some heated discussions, especially me and Jeff last year. But I told him, I knew it. Like, this country, let's just be frank, either you're fat or you run a 5K. Like, that's the obsession right now.
Yeah.
Most people don't go to the track and do wind sprints. Most people don't really hop on their bike and do workouts. You either jog or you don't. And marathons and 5Ks and the color run and fun run runs, that rings a bell with people. So a guy like Meb, with a smiley face and a curious name, and then he wins the Boston, the only road race outside of the New York Marathon that is covered on now. NBC covers it.
Yep.
You win that, you get coverage. And that I remember the exact thing that we butted heads about was legitimacy.
Yeah.
That this makes them legit.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it. I knew it. Coming from an athletic perspective, I knew it. An endorsement like that, athletic sense where you actually have a winner wearing your shoes, a winner, then you get the air of fitness.
Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off. D, is that the real ad?
This is the ad. This is the Boston Globe. I took a picture of it. I had to go and find it.
Sugar Ray Leonard look like he's like Frankenstein feet is photoshopped on his leg.
Yeah, exactly. They look huge, don't they?
Perspective is blown.
And he's wearing, I guess fitted pants. He's got them rolled up to show them off. But this whole Skechers Sport line with their memory foam, which I've actually seen the memory foam sneakers. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to the same foam that New Balance is using. Well,
yeah, the fresh.
Close to the fresh foam. It is.
Fresh foam.
Well, and Fila.
Yep.
Yeah. And the rocker on the Meb shoe, I'm not gonna want to hear this. That the shoe design is legit. Whether you'd wear it or not, you know where I stand. I'm 3 stripes all day for training, but as a reviewer and as someone trying to always be fair to the market and test out technology, the way that shoe is built is really, really comfortable if you're going to put in some mileage.
I mean, that's, again, the hint that, fat or fit in America, like you said. So if you're fit, the super high performance, if you're fat, you want to look like you do the super high performance, but you don't get to
right.
Yeah, well, that's price just point is big.
That's just just a couple articles we were kind of throwing around today said just that. Like, people want to look like they either are going to the gym,
or coming from,
going or coming.
Yeah.
But let's look at athletic training pants. I don't even know. I call them athletic training pants. I mean, they're AKA spandex.
Thank you. An excuse.
I don't even know. Yeah. Like, again, I call them athletic training pants.
They're the new Ooh babies. If you're old enough, you know what the Ooh baby shorts are.
Oh man, I mean, you see, women at the bus stop, literally, not like in the LL Cool J video, but
my Starbucks stays lit with it.
Oh man, it's everywhere. It really is.
It is.
You can't escape it.
And then again, you look at volume, because that's what we're really talking about, is the entry price for something that now has the air of being legit and can look good and feel okay. Again, you're not out competing on television or on a world-class level, so if it feels legit, I can get my walk-in around the neighborhood, stop at my Starbucks, get props for looking like I worked out, and then head home, all for $65. Okay, I'm in. You know? And then on top of that, from the company perspective, I talk about market share, and we talk about all these things from these brands that have built up, but every single one of these brands was a new kid at some point, getting laughed at, getting poked at, being said that they weren't for real.
Yeah.
Through and had their moment, and I think Skechers is having its moment.
Mm-hmm.
They are indeed. They certainly are. Winning.
They are indeed.
Crazy.
Here's the reason Skechers stock closed higher Tuesday. Man. Numbers straight from the street.
And for the purpose of brevity, I just threw that up there so people could see what it looks like on thestreet.com. With the title, it says here, now makes up 5% of the sports footwear market for the quarter ending in March, according to PD Group. as reported by the Wall Street. 5%. And they're second.
Yep.
That's funny when the margin from second down on is
They're second.
Oh, that's crazy.
But the most impressive number to me was, it says the rise in Skechers sales highlights America's growing desire for less expensive shoes that may never actually be used for running.
Right.
The journal noted, adding that Skechers sales grew 29% last year to $2.4 billion. Their sales grew 30%.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like, what do you say to that? Hate on it if you want.
Honestly, it's again, Under Armour had a quicker rise to fame because I think they borrowed directly from Big Brother's handbook and got that marketing and PR legitimacy first. They fought an uphill battle. But when I'm looking at the comparison to Skechers, they're doing the same. They're just doing it almost more like where Under Armour borrowed a page from Nike's book. Skechers is borrowing a page from Balance's book, where we're going to be legit on the ground. You guys be flashy. You're going to get that market share. We're going to go for that old man who buys this shoe for the rest of his life in succession. We're going to get that soccer mom who wants a stylish shoe. She knows they may be playing off of the fact that, okay, you know us for those knockoffs. You know us for those lookalikes. You already like them, so now come get a legit shoe.
Right.
Here's the crazy thing. How do they grow to this magnitude? This speaks about what actually the customer wants these days. How do they have this kind of growth after the Shape-Ups lawsuit?
Stay in your lane.
And the attention. Honestly, the attention. You know, this is Domino's saying we've fixed our crust. And they did. And it's selling like hotcakes. I was a Domino's man.
And guess what? Hater. And it's so funny you bring up Domino's because I just realized, because I don't watch TV, like they came out in the ad and said that they changed their name from Domino's Pizza to just what? Domino's.
Because we do more than just.
We do more than pizza. And
then on top of that, in their ads, they were very self-effacing. They would make fun of themselves.
Exactly.
They were like, our crust was this? Like, oh, man, that's terrible.
Throw that out. Let's get some new stuff.
Yeah. Let's get some new stuff. And so and
I was like, wow, that's I mean, I can remember Avoid the Noid campaign.
Yeah, exactly. You know? They actually made fun of that too. Yeah.
You know?
They basically used the bad press to destroy that, like literally exercise that demon. So that's one way in a marketing sense is if we own, you know what's funny is I tell my athletes this all the time. If you own your own, no one can make you feel bad about them. They actually empower you. So they own their own bad press so they could move forward at full speed ahead.
29% growth since last year.
That's
to $2.4 billion. Man.
All I keep thinking is, I ain't no joke, this keeps playing in my head. I mean, literally. You know? They're like, listen, you know, they're going to let the mic smoke for real. Like, they're really, I mean, the street, they are owning the street right now. Nobody is outperforming Skechers when it comes to Wall Street. And certainly, obviously, at sales.
That's just clear.
and we want, because we don't want people to get confused. Categories that matter here, and there's sports brand in America, and just footwear in America.
True indeed. Good point.
So that's
Under Armour is number 2 overall sports brand in America.
Yep.
Skechers is number 2 footwear brand
That's
in America.
crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
See, I think it's
you know what
good
this
that,
means?
yeah.
You know what this means for the Yeezy slingers, the
Oh
Cuff
man.
Riders for Yeezy? Adidas lost twice in less than a year.
And that means I'm losing. Don't get me started.
Sports brand to Under Armour.
Now this.
And
Actually,
now they've lost the number 2 position from footwear to
Yep.
Skechers.
And
actually,
that's
you're
why
winning, Steve, because now they
yeah,
have to hire.
that's true. Good call, Jesse. Come lay your head on my shoulder, Adidas.
Oh man.
So if you ever wanted to find one you can lose on a
And the thing is also for those transitioning from being our younger viewers to our more mature and older viewers is what you just said. Sportswear has everyone's attention. That's the 10. We use dating as an example. That's the pretty girl at the bar that everybody wants to date. That's the 10.
Mhm.
And then that 8 sitting right there looking real good, who would treat you twice as nice as the 10, is clocking. That's Skechers right now. They're making money. That's footwear. That's footwear. The entire category of footwear. That's 10 times as big. That's massive in comparison. Because you enter in so many more and categories when you're thinking about that. Sportswear is very court specific. It's very sports specific. But then you think that's Foot Locker. You know, you're talking, just to put it in some layman's terms, that's, Foot Locker, your Finish Lines, your Nike.com, blah. Now, take your biggest department store and think more in terms of that. Your JCPenney's, your Sears, your Yonkers, your Herbergers, your Macy's. Picture the shoe department there and a Foot Locker. There's your comparison, folks. There's your layman's terms comparison of footwear, sportswear. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Adidas has been taking a serious beating on 2 levels for the last year. So
And they're still looking for a new CEO to replace
yep.
Herbert. I mean,
Yep.
his contract. I mean, we know he's out, but extended it.
Out. They're transitioning early, and they have to transition.
So whoever takes over in that role, is gonna, they have their work cut out for them. I look at it as that, they need to just stop. They're not gonna beat Nike. Let's be honest. They're not gonna beat Nike, but they can regain some traction in the United States as well as beyond. I mean, this year is going to be huge for the women's soccer taking place, and then certainly in 2016 when the Olympics head to South America. So
yeah, they've I think they're banking. Adidas specifically is banking on a few future things. Their future casting for this next year. We've seen them do it before. We've been doing this show long enough to have seen this World Cup cycle, Olympic cycle come around before. So we know they're ramping up for a very big year. They've got major sponsorships when it comes to athletics. Athletics in terms of what the Europeans call athletics, but track and field.
Okay.
The IAAF is an Adidas organization. So anything track and field done all over the world in this next year is going to explode for them. Hence their push with Boost and running specifically on that front. I can't speak to the style front or the fashion front, but I know they're going to have a really big year with World Championships in China this summer, the Olympics next year, World Cup. Anything officially sanctioned by the International Athletics Federation is Adidas down. I always tell the story about Oregon last summer. That was the IAAF event, and Adidas was able to cover up Nike swooshes. So they're future casting for some things, but I think it goes with what Jesse said right when he came on the air. I think Adidas should get used to staying in its lane and not so much going for that number 2 spot.
Yeah, the chasing, right?
Yeah, because you see such rich heritage and you see such great design functionality and a rabidly loyal fan base in other brands that don't even bother to play in the same pool. Mizunos, you know, your Asics, your New Balances. To a point, New Balance has crossed over into some boutique stuff. I don't even count the Onitsuka stuff for Asics or the collabs with Giovanni Fado.
Right.
But if you walk into any store and you're a complete newbie and you ask shoe, that clerk, whether he is highly educated on shoes or a brand new kid, has been told to say Asics. They've got a loyal fan base and a loyal following because they stay in their lane.
Yeah. Do you think, like, like talk about Asics and labs? Are we done? Like, are we starting to see those to kind of like?
Oh yeah, a lot of
those go by the wayside?
And I think it's because it's too easy. It's too easy to actually do. So and again, as we've seen with Kanye, this dude put on a shoe and wore it on a major stage at the billboards, and all of a sudden it moved the needle. It's the same shoe that nobody bought 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? I saw a pair, and I wish I had bought them, and when I went back to buy them, I saw a same pair sitting at a Marshall's.
Really?
Sitting in Marshall's. I think the retail price was $59.99.
Ultra Boost?
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, because I remember
a few of them did.
I should have taken a picture of the box because it was a size 8.
Loose.
And I didn't like. I was like, okay, it can't fit Paper, it can't fit Jesse. I'm passing on. I couldn't think of anyone, who
a few of them did get loose right at the turn of the year. I don't know how, but I was seeing some receipts on eBay with people that had like a February date on them, and I'm like, a February.
And where were they buying them? Were they buying them at Adidas?
They weren't Adidas. I don't know where they came from.
Well, this was a Marshall's, right? Like all of 20 minutes from me.
And remember how the buying cycle goes. So they're going to try to release that in their specialty running stores first. That first batch that gets made, any color and all that stuff, they're going to go to these running specialties. If the running specialties can't handle it, that turns around and gets put on the markdown list, which is at the corporate headquarters. That mark these other pick them up in a heartbeat.
Man.
That's how you find them gems like that at the discount store.
Hopefully there'll be some gems like that once again this summer because you never know. Someone said, "Oh, these didn't do so well. Let's send them to
Well, they're gonna scramble right now because they'll have a bunch of stuff that's in specialty running stores right now that all of a sudden will start sitting on shelves because the hype beasts want that one white one. So that one white one is going to be in your Foot Lockers, and all these other colors that really matter aren't going to move. And all of a sudden they're going to be like, how come our sales are skewed? Well, that's what you did.
It seems like everyone and their mother of all the brands have put out or are starting to release all white sneakers.
It's summertime.
I mean, it's summertime, but for some, remember the whole Air Force One craze back in the day when everyone had to have a pair of Air Force One on white lows and then mid. We're seeing that kind of white on white, and even with the gum sole, because I saw Hirachis.
Man, those are beautiful.
So I mean,
those are beautiful.
It's crazy.
Well, you know what happened? It came ago. Runway fashion was doing
all white.
They went white on white. They went taupe on white. They went some kind of neutral on white, and it's just now coming from couture runways in the fashion sense. Last summer, Finish Line had a huge push. It wasn't brand specific to any one shoe brand. White shoes from all types of brands. Our guy Miles Coltrane.
Okay.
He wrote about it last summer because he was asked by Finish Line to do a piece, and they were doing white on gum, white on white, but it was just Finish Line specific that I knew about. Now it's brand specific. All brands. So, like, watch New York Fashion Week. In about a year and a half, 2 years, it'll pop at these lower levels of fashion.
Yeah, it's the same thing with all the monotone.
It's about to change over again. So that whole monotone, we're about to get to the desert sand color.
Yep.
The Army Navy with a faded taupe.
And it's a rebellion.
White will always be there, but the next year or so. And it's
a rebellion from 4 years ago when hypercolor was big.
Yeah. But the corporates on the inside are just now catching up because there's still some companies that have a couple of neons out there. They're like, damn, we're stuck with these, and they're stuck with those. So, it's like they're trying to play catch up. Other big ones want to be nimble and small, like some of these other people, and try to put out these quick strikes to be part of that menu. But yet they still have stores. Again, everything we talk about, and it's very simple, is to keep their consumers engaged in order to understand what's going on. You should be able to let the runner know, oh, if you want to be fashionable, you can go get the same shoe you run in on the track on white and still rock it in connection.
Yep. And then on top of that, they're not telling. Oh, go ahead, Paper. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I can come on after you.
I was just gonna say one little snippet that I put in our chat from earlier is while everybody's chasing the hype, they forgot to look at the LTD behind the silver one, which that's the limit that was put out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that white on white is GR, babies. After the early release, they're gonna drop it on June 1st.
Well, the Yeezy Boost is coming back out.
Yeah.
No, yeah. The Yeezy Boost is on June 1st. This was just a pre-sale. June 1st, they're gonna flood it.
But here's a level of intrigue that here you have, and I think everybody. Well, I'm going to boldly include Jesse in this. I think everybody can agree the one brand consistently making the best shoes over the last 2 years, Boost included, has been Adidas.
Absolutely.
Is who?
Adidas.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How are you missing so badly the good that you lose to Skechers in the footwear category?
They're chasing.
And to Under Armour in the overall sportswear brand category, an untrue brand. They lost to the hood.
If they had done it right, if they had done it right, and I'm gonna give this one because it's too late for them to do anything about it right now. So here's one for you, Adidas. Call me. If they had done it right, they would have smashed Nike 10 years ago, because Nike is known widely through performance circles about 10 years ago for losing their cred as a trainer with the functional, viable training shoes. And the air bubbles got massive. Real athletes, if you saw a real track athlete at the Olympics, they were wearing something like a Pegasus with just regular foam, Zoom Air, but they weren't going for the gimmicks. The gimmicks were actually style related, but they were not helping Nike gain any traction. Adidas has always had a very strong attachment to performance and innovation.
Absolutely.
They jump out of their lane trying to be stylish, and it doesn't work for them because they are a performance brand. Hardcore.
And to pinpoint, I guess since you're talking about it, to pinpoint the moment Adidas went wrong, or not necessarily the moment they went wrong. Steve is right that Nike had lost their performance cred, and that's when their running business was suffering so bad they decided to reorg. They tried to figure out how they can better align internally to capitalize on the energy they were getting out of basketball. So what did they do for the Olympics? Do you remember what they were wearing in the Olympics when they're on the pedestal?
Oh, those
They're wearing green units.
Yep.
Green.
That's what they did. And they took a direct by pushing their prime knit down, because they knew that from a performance angle, if Adidas hit that first, it would have taken off.
But Adidas did release theirs first.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying is Nike took a and said, go back to Germany with that noise for a couple of years.
They went into a German court and tried to bury them. For some reason. They went into a German court to bury them, got that temporary injunction.
Yep. So, and that's because from a performance angle, Adidas, even Nike knows that Adidas is performance based. So they said, let's cut them off at the knees with performance because they don't have the style to F with us. So
it's a very intriguing, exciting, confusing, conflicting situation in the sneaker business right now because of all this jockeying for position that has taken place when we can understand how certain brands have managed to slip so badly. Like, where's New Balance now? Skechers passed them at number 5 2 years ago. Where are they now?
Yep.
Where are you falling to? Like, we know that they fell from the number 2 spot, but how far did they fall?
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's good. Good question.
You know,
And like when you're sitting on an arsenal like Boost, when is it time to push the button? Like,
What are you waiting for? Show.
weapon, use it.
Yeah.
listen, there is nothing as far as, an energy returns that has been as good as Boost.
Nope.
There have been designers in the industry that have told us that. There have been high-performance people that have told us that, you yourself included, Steve.
Yep.
There have been people on numerous levels who have said, yo, that Boost?
It's comfortable too.
Bro, and not just that, the theory to how it's made.
Yeah.
The chaos theory of having these little pellets all reacting in omnidirectional ways. I've had athletes had corrective insoles that no longer need to wear them because the unilateral foam, of an old school EVA or whatnot breaks down, so they need the extra support. Because Boost doesn't accept your footprint as an imprint,
Right.
they don't need them anymore. I actually had one of my athletes tonight. He used to have these massive clunky insoles to keep his arch up. He says I had to take those out because now they hurt because my boosts they don't do it anymore.
Wow.
It's crazy, but
Yeah.
they're literally sitting on them and they won't push the button on.
I mean,
I wonder if they just can't bring it to market. Like they didn't know that it was gonna work or be so successful. All of a sudden, it's like we don't have enough stuff in our quiver to like drop them quick enough. We can't put enough crack in the street because we don't have it ready.
It's like ignoring. It seriously would be like ignoring a loved one. They've ignored them. They've seriously just ignored them long enough. Now they have something for them, and they don't know how to go to. They literally don't know how to talk to them. Adidas left their boutique running stores. There were big ones here in the Midwest that stopped carrying them because they stopped the relationship because they were chasing style. They were chasing Nike. When really that touch point on the ground of high performance had an end. They had the history, but they turned their back on it. And so now they're having trouble with this great secret weapon. They're having trouble going back to their base. They're having trouble getting back in their lane. There's one here in town called Peak Performance. If you're a track athlete, a run, 5K, triathlon, you just go to Peak Performance. That's just what you do first. And then there's another one, Red Dirt Running. You can't even find Peak Performance. Stop carrying Adidas. They don't even carry them.
Wow.
Even Peak is missing out on Boost because they lost the relationship.
So the head of sales for this region, I believe this summer, is moving back east for Adidas. And then they're bringing a guy, and he's coming from Germany.
Wow.
Not locally. Once again, Germany. So they answer their own, they answer their own strife. And that's not to take any credit away from the person they're bringing in. But if you're going to put out publicly that you're going to make a push for the market and reconnect to the American sports, you probably should pay attention to your connections to the American consumer.
You're not going to do Kanye West.
Nope.
Literally,
what I
Kanye
talked
West,
about.
Pharrell, and what else did they say? Kanye West, Pharrell, and Boost.
It's shoe gentrification. You got your athletic public is angry at you because you let the cool kids take over.
Yeah.
I got one pair of Energy Boost 2s a few months ago. It's just, again, to talk about how people are just like passing Adidas by like the forest. I remember when I posted on Instagram that I got a pair of Energy Boost 2s for $69 at a Foot Locker in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Right.
Said store in Hoboken, New Jersey now has all of their Boost models, including the Energy Boost 2, for $49.99.
Come on, are you serious?
$160 shoe is going for $49.99. The entire wall.
In the New England area where there is the Boston Marathon, which is...
Now wait, here's what's worse about that.
They have an Adidas store now.
Wow.
Here's what's bad about that. In Hoboken, New Jersey, everybody runs somewhere. It's by the water. They have parks. It's been named the most hipster place in America, Hoboken, New Jersey. Seriously.
Wow.
Yo, you can't win because like you just left one of the most hipster places.
I know. I was just about to say the same thing.
Well. I'm in Bayonne. I'm not
Okay.
in Hoboken. I freak because the bars and restaurants are awesome.
Okay.
But
Because the hipsters know their
Hipsters, exactly, right? Craft beer.
so the entire wall is $49.99.
Wow.
That's
So
insane.
I bought another pair of Energy Boost 2s.
Why wouldn't you? You're gonna be in running shoes for 3 years now, because them shoes gonna last forever.
Going, how are all of these incredible shoes
Just sitting.
Just
going
sitting,
for
man.
$49.90? I never fathomed that a shoe of that quality, let alone, would go for such a price.
That's crazy.
Shell toe Adidas, which they don't sell in that store, for more than the Energy Boost 2.
That's crazy. Technology, all that advancement, literally just going away.
You need help. Reach out and touch someone.
For sure.
That's an old ad for y'all, for those who aren't old enough to
With telephone.
Let your fingers do the walking.
Yep. Let your fingers do the walking, reach out and touch. Like, seriously, Adidas.
What about these, y'all? Just because, and then we're gonna segue. I know.
Yep.
We talked about these on a previous episode.
Yeah.
We had our behind this cool, I'm calling it Climate Chill Cosmic Boost.
Yeah, I
mean,
shared my pins too. Yep.
This is one of those sneakers again that people are not going to pay attention to.
No,
they're gonna miss out.
It's a perfect sneaker summer, and
They're gonna miss out. And on top of that, this shoe is gonna be huge for women. Trust me. From an anatomical standpoint, in that a lot of women are arched to 4-foot strikers, and they need the stability. They're gonna, if you're in the gym, that hard heel. When you're running, it's not gonna be put to use, but on your 4-foot, it's gonna be great. Or for those who want to cross over, little court sports, little running, cross training, that stability in the heel. If you've worn a Boost and you put it on for the first time, a full length Boost gets you a little wobbly at first because it is very soft. So this is going to be a good stable frame for it. I think this one's going to be one of the most overlooked because people are going to miss it.
Because of the price, it's $140.
$140, yeah.
I thought it was 120, so yeah, 140 is a bit high.
They're gonna lose the price point.
But it is Flyknit. Oh, not Flyknit, PrimeKnit, right?
Right.
PrimeKnit upper. Yeah, that's gonna keep a
just like the Element Refine of last summer. But the Element Refine was $70.
Yeah.
I mean, when the market is telling you Skechers is moving out the door, when you're missing the fact that you're not connecting your consumer with some of your technology, I mean, $140 in colors that you know are only going to go to women. Well, what are you doing? How are you?
Yeah.
Something Steve taught me, which was cool, was understanding subcultures. Adidas has tons of subcultures they're not even coming close to.
No,
not even coming close to. And it's not like you have to tell long stories. Just acknowledge them. Even acknowledging the subculture, and that's why the subculture and people are like, fuck you, $49?
Yeah.
Oh, word, you fit my budget. But other than that, there's no brand is given the consumer in order for them to say, word, let me do that.
It's like, but not paving the street in front of it. Like, I want to get there, but I can't get there. Like, oh, you can't.
That's the best analogies. Building a mansion, but not paving the street in front of it.
Like, yeah, you can aspire all you want, but you can't get here. Damn. I mean, like, seriously, look at the technology in this shoe. You have basically 1/3 boost, if not almost half boost. You've got prime knit. You know, you've got because of the sock booty fit.
Yeah.
Plus you got the their new stretch web outsole, which is really cool. It works. It's all technology in here. That's a mansion, and they're not telling you how to get to.
A lot going on in it. They do. Especially when I look at the outsole.
This is a huge reflection on, and this is not somebody who's not in the industry technically. Huge reflection on the people that are making these decisions in these boardrooms, and the fact that at its core, okay, so these can't be put in these rooms whatever, and they can't look at them and say, wow, that's going to be great in CrossFit. Wow, that's going to be great in a spin class. They can't make that connection. They don't know how to do that. You got a lot of kids with no experience outside of class, know how to do analytics, but have no idea how to take that analytic knowledge and apply it to something that's practical and feed it back and hit at retail. Can't do it. You know
what's proof of that, Jesse? Is the colors that D had on screen right there are boutique colors.
Right.
Like if they had put that out in a basic white or taupe or something subdued, drop the price $20, that shoe flies out and is all over the CrossFit circuit.
It's gone. It's gone. In order for a shoe to be a hot summer shoe, it's got to be the right price point, and you got to make people think about it.
But they put boutique colors on.
And they price it at $140? Please.
Right, at boutique prices.
I got 2 kids. I want coffee, pay for my expensive car. I got credit card bills. I'm trying to go to the beach and have nice dinners. I don't need $100.
I tried on the black ones. D explained to me why they would probably work for him more so than me, because I found the lack of boost in the rear to not really work for me. That
too
firm
hard
foundation in the rear that really, and it's really hard. It's not a boost. It's like hard, period.
These are those half and half shoes, huh?
So I really didn't enjoy this shoe for 100, because I was so focused on the way the ride felt, because it was foot, as opposed to what we're used to, what I'm used to now, being spoiled by full-length boost. And I really couldn't even appreciate stuff like the Sprint Web, the Climacool, the Prime Knit. I couldn't appreciate any of that because I was so focused on, gosh, why is the rear of this shoe?
That's something that Adidas has always done, is missed their overlap, and acknowledge that there will be overlap in the shoe. Like the feel and the ride of Energy Boost is going to put a damper on this shoe. They used to do that a lot with their 3 levels of shoe, where Adistar, Supernova, Response. The overlap of those 3 would have people scratching their head at why I should pay $60 more for an Adistar or $40 more for a Supernova when I can get the bottom buck price at a Response. That's because it had everything that the other shoes had at half the price.
And then they ran into assholes like me at the store, and I made them put it on, and then they're like, damn, you're going to make me spend the money. I'm like, yep, because that's what you need. They'll sell you the Response, but your 258-pound ass needs the Supernova.
Right.
Because you need that support. So that's where, again, they're missing that story.
They're missing that overlap. Yeah, they're missing that story.
So since we're doing analogies tonight, and then we'll move on, that shoe, that Climacool shoe, reminds me of bifocals, where you could see where one type of lens ends and the other one begins.
and you're looking over the top of it.
And you look, you go.
Of them work when you're this close to the book.
That's what those remind me of. Bifocals from back in the day, you could see the lens separation.
Then bifocal.
I don't understand why they released this in Colorado.
They did?
I don't understand why they put Colorado with this. Colorado is an outdoor state. This shoe has no traction on the bottom, and it's got a hard back. Therefore, all or most outdoor shoes for a place like Colorado are usually softer because the shoe the ground will give you the stability. So you've got to let the ground be stable. You can't build it into the shoe.
Right.
So therefore, you would never use this shoe in Colorado.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't. Technically speaking.
Another reason why they need to hire us.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm telling you, this one would be on the CrossFit circuit like crazy.
Yeah, because you can do some Olympic lifts in it.
Yep. Yep.
And you can box jump in
when you
it.
need to. Yep.
Mm-hmm. You can go up and down and have a stable.
Man, this would be a killer in CrossFit.
Adidas, we love you, but we hate you. It's another way to put that.
And push me out of the LES all the way to the edge of.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
You know, one thing that Dwayne always talked about that sticks with me, and you have to understand, and you hear it a lot, and I think it's clearly not happening internally. Is there's a way to understand that you're not the consumer. Once you start working, you're building for the consumer. But once a consumer makes their decision, that's how they interpret it, and that's fine. But you need to listen to that and take that back into the process of building the next shoe. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I think in certain categories you can't do that. Adidas has all the categories where they're supposed to be doing that, and they do the opposite. Where Nike, on the other hand, has flipped that and done the opposite. Nike now has taken what the consumer uses shoes for and made that the sole purpose, a la retro Jordans.
Yep. And then under the damn cup game with you, like we don't know if it works or not. It looks good, and somebody's doing something good in it. So where's the ball?
Yep.
Like everybody's doing it. Yeah, the shell game, and Adidas is sitting back with literally suitcases. No, a steamer train of old golden coins worth millions, but they're not telling anybody.
Yeah.
Let's not tell anybody that we got this. And they're acting like they got rags on, you know. They the guys from what's that Eddie Murphy movie?
Trading Places?
Man.
Yes, they're the bums from Trading Places. They rich, but they're chilling out on the street corner.
He called them the bums from Trading Places. Wow. I hope somebody from Adidas at some point watches this and pays attention.
And just so you know, I bash you, Adidas, right now because I'm riding with you, okay? Call us.
We want to help Adidas. Matter of fact, I helped Adidas earlier this year.
You did.
But I did. I shouldn't have needed to is more like it. I was honored to do it, but I shouldn't have needed to.
I'm prepared to help. I'm willing to help, but I'm not going to be ignored anymore. I'm not going to be afraid to be in that room and let you guys know the connections. I'm just not. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so, T-Wells, are you ready to cue this story, or should I?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Absolutely.
All right. So, our own In Need of Heat put out the other day that he shared with us. Excuse me. In Need of Heat shared this story of a young man from Erie, Pennsylvania that is part of this E60 story with Chris Paul. Incredible young man who played basketball for his, local team in Erie, Pennsylvania. Seemed to come from what would be a picture perfect going on in people's households. Love father, brother, sisters, and mom just ups and decides to disappear one day. She wasn't about that life anymore. Not to speak ill of the dead, but just put it in terms people can relate to. And she left. And this young man, who kind of was really partial to the presence of his mother over his father, who ironically, even though he was a ball player, a sportscaster, his mom was really kind of an inspiration for him. And she ended up being terminal, having brain cancer. There's a whole lot of stuff that went. And when she passed, this young man's father, along with him, did a video tribute which involved CP3 sneakers that his mom bought for him prior to her passing. So Chris Paul got wind of this tribute video and the way the shoes were used as a tribute to this young man's mom, and Chris Paul's people reached out to the family. and invited him out to a game when the Clippers played the Pistons. He met him. He gave him some more shoes, the whole 9 yards. But the reason why I go through that much of the story, it's still worth watching, and please watch it if you haven't already.
Chris Paul actually teared up in the interview. I saw the actual post-game interview, and they caught him right courtside. He was
True, he was.
Now, the thing that's crazy about this is, with so many people across the country dying for Nike product, Jordan product in particular, crazy crimes happening, people's shoes being snatched, dragged by cars that maybe Nike and Jordan brand would have said, yeah, this is the kind of thing we need to put on full display. No. Chris Paul did this all on his own. D. Wells, weigh in for a minute. I need to plug up.
No, absolutely. So, with this story, I went and looked at it, and what really, I guess, stood out for me, and I'll stop the screen share for a moment, was the fact that how this young teenager now connected with his mother. He said, and he could no longer fit the sneakers. He turned of the sneakers into a planter memorial at his mom's burial site, and the other one he would put behind him on the at the bench for every game. And he and his teammates wrote his mother's initials, which happened to be LEG.
Yeah.
And everyone did it. Chris Paul did it as well. And I thought it was just a great tribute of Chris Paul be with us, not only see this video, take the actual action to reach out to him, contact him, invite him to the game with his parents and some other friends, and then present him with sneakers. And yeah, you can say, well, okay, what did he get out? He got to meet a celebrity, a famous basketball player, and get some free sneakers. But it's so much more than that. It's so much more. I mean, this young man no longer has a mother, but what he was able to understand is that he had all these people pushing, praying for him, and encouraging him to keep his mother's legacy alive. When we lose our loved ones, we always talk about this. Listen, yeah, they may physically not be here, and I truly believe this, but guess what? Their memories live with us, and we get to retell those stories, those moments where you've cried with them. You may have laughed your ass off till you have been in tears. And that's the thing I think at the end of the day I was able to take away from it. I was like, okay, he lost his mom for a point of time. It seemed like almost 3-4 years.
Yep.
And then she re-entered his life, and then lo and behold, she was stricken with brain cancer and ultimately died. But though that moment from the time that she kind of reconnected, with the family and reconnected with him, guess what? He said, you know what? I could do anything. I think at one point he actually said, I know I play the game for her and her memory, and I can do anything I set my mind to. So I thought it was a great piece. I thought it was more importantly showing the caring side of Chris Paul, where I kind of followed his career when he was at Wake Forest, and his story about
when he was in high school.
When he was in high school, and just some of the things, a lot of people don't know that even Chris Paul's mother at one point battled some form of cancer. I don't know exactly what kind. So I think this story, that's why it resonated so strongly with him, because he was like,
And the fact that his grandfather, Chris Paul would play his high school games. His grandfather would shut down his gas station to go to his games. People would be mad at his grandfather because he'd be like, nope, closing at 4. Grandson got a game. See y'all later.
Yeah.
So he went out and scoring after his grandfather was murdered. He ended up scoring 61 points that next game in high school.
Wow, that's right. Wow.
In high school, 61 points for his grandfather. So that story, of course, resonated with him, with that young man and his family. But we're big on stories, Why did he have to do that himself? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't Jordan Brand and Nike step in and say, yo, you know what? Damn, so many people are dying for senseless reasons. Our product to celebrate the life of his mom. He's going out. He's being what we call the quote-unquote athlete everybody is every game.
Right.
Persevering. He's doing all this stuff that we say makes a Nike athlete or a Jordan Brand athlete. Didn't he step in and do something? Why did Chris Paul have to do that himself?
I'm just glad he did it. I guess, yeah, you could say, shame on Jordan, but it's just like, and not to go completely off topic, but I'm going to go here. I always had an issue with Jordan himself, Michael Jordan, never coming out in the 90s when guys were getting mugged and, jacked and even killed for their sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was Sporting News or Sports Illustrated where he basically said, in not so many words, it's about me selling more sneakers and making more money. I'm paraphrasing my own kind of. He never came out and said, you know what, this is an issue. I wouldn't want this to happen to one of my 3 children, right? Mm-hmm. I've always, even to this day, I've always had an issue with that. So the human factor, right? Chris Paul being the person he is, he just basically said, you know what? This is important to me, so I'm going to take some action. I'm going to make some phone calls and truly make it happen. Yeah. Because we know Jordan Brand is not going to do anything. They're not. Just like every time around Christmas time, a Jordan comes out, we know some stupid shit's going to happen, and no matter what message PR marketing department puts out there, it's about how can we get this money? Yeah. And we, the consumers, people are so trained. Like, we were having just like we were having the conversation about before the show. Why is it people pay so much damn attention to what Kanye West is doing? Michael Jordan is 52 years old right now. He hasn't played on a hardwood basketball court since the video popped up of him with Tom Brady in the Caribbean somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. He pulled the Welvine on him. Got him, right? Got him! With the step back. But, like, why are people so enamored by celebrities? Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? The real people pay so much attention to someone like Kanye West and not enough attention to someone like the kid or the young man who was incarcerated for 25 years, comes out as a teacher and is actually collecting socks for the homeless. Because one of the most important things a homeless person needs is a clean pair of socks, believe it or not. Like, that's shit, you sit there, you scratch your head, and you're like, not to sound off, get on my soapbox, but like, you really think about it, it's like, fuck, really? Yeah.
His old problem, because that dude doing Will ain't out there bitching and crying like a baby, like Kanye, and making noise. There's a saying that a friend of mine always says, older says, empty cans make the most noise.
and tongue and teeth does follow. That's what we say.
There you go.
It happens. It's true.
Yep, empty barrels make the most.
But see, our job here is to continue to ask those questions and challenge. Like, we are still. I haven't heard, and if someone has heard, has seen documented footage or press, show me where anyone has asked Tinker Hatfield as hard a questions as we've asked him when he came to this show. In particular, the one we asked him about how he felt about the Sports Illustrated cover. Right. May 14th, 1990. And I just alluded to that again. D, you listened to the interview. Or anyone who's ever heard, when I interviewed with the Sneaker Box podcast, where I said, we hit Tinker with the questions that was real deal questions. We didn't ask him to come on and we start sucking his meat off talking about elephant print on the 3 or the inspiration behind the 8. We didn't want to hear any of that. We wanted to know, you created this. You put your heart and soul and whatever ingenuity and genius you had into this shoe, and a kid was choked to death on a Chicago basketball court for it. How did you feel about that? We asked that question. No one else asked that question. And that's our job here, to continue to ask those kind of questions and raise those kind of issues. So that's why I had to ask that question in regard to, the Chris Paul story. Is like, was it really that hard for them to get involved? It wasn't. They just chose not to. Chris Paul did all, because that video that he put up with that tribute to his mom with those shoes, hundreds of thousands of video.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of thousands of people saw that video. We know they saw it. We know people shared it with other in Jordan Brand. They're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, there's no premium on doing good, man. It's crazy.
So props to Chris Paul, and shame on Nike and Jordan Brand. And for that reason alone, chance I get when I see a pair of Chris Paul shoes on sale, I'm gonna buy them. I'm not paying full retail though. Facts.
Facts, yeah. Facts.
So it's 11:32 Eastern Standard Time. We got anything else to share before we wrap up episode number 347?
I just wanted to get your quick take, everyone, real quick, short, sweet, to the point. This Kobe 10 EXT mid is throwing me off here. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it tonight while we've been on, and I posted it in the link. First impressions. What do you see? I mean, it's like a Damian Lillard sneaker to me.
Yeah.
It looks like an Adidas.
It does look very much like an Adidas.
Wow.
It's got the same bottom profile of.
It looks like Boost, right?
I mean, not even Boost. Like, go further back to who was old boy used to play for the Wizards?
Gilbert Arenas.
Oh my goodness!
This looks like a Gilbert Arenas.
Two Gats. That's right. Damn. You know what?
The back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's.
I don't know. Yeah, it's throwing me off. Also, just because it's the Kobe 10 itself was, to me, just an understatement. It was not. There might be innovations to it, but it was as plain as it gets.
Yeah. My son plays in the Kobe 10, and he plays in the Kobe 10, and he tends to like it as far as for his game, and he traditionally hasn't played in low-top basketball shoes. This was his first year playing in low-top basketball shoes, and he likes the Kobe 10.
I see it performing. I could definitely see it performing, because I mean, it's like I said, there might be some inside tricks too, where you got to put it on and get busy in it. Just on that on the shelf view left me thinking that why would you pay that much for that particular shoe? It looks like a very solid $90 shoe.
And this thing is coming out on Friday. Wow. Okay.
It's the shoe performs, from what I hear from people internally. It performs, and they're happy about it that way. This right here. Why are you trying that hard? Really?
This isn't a court shoe, is it?
No, you can't play in that.
So?
And the fact that the guy hasn't played all year, are you trying to get into what it's on? It's on wood. That's gonna be in. I believe it's probably gonna be in their Nike Labs. That's probably nice leather. It's got that little gold foil thing at the top where the Kobe thing is.
Yeah. Yo, I stopped.
Where's it gonna be?
Stop wearing tight shoes.
Those aren't. They're not. It's supposed to be aspirational, but it's like hard here.
Yeah, this is definitely a.
As Dr. Leo would say, it's a movie shoe.
Yeah, the movie shoe. Yeah,
the movie shoe.
And I do like that sort of kind of icy underneath glass look that they had to the midsole, where cushioning is then covered up by another membrane. Like, that's kind of future looking. I see it, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
It throws me off. Now
it's gonna be a lot of money. And it's gonna be a lot of money for, like I said, a Tai Chi.
Yeah, what is the they don't even tell the retail, but it's being available. It's being received on Friday the 22nd.
As of now, that means it's going to be a boutique thing, and that means if you get them through Nike, you're most likely going to only be able to get them through Lab if they do it. All
right, what they say.
Pass.
And it's white on white, just like the summer.
Yeah, white on white with gum.
Right on time. Pass. Balls and do it, Tom Brady. Pass.
We're gonna do something Kobe doesn't do.
We don't talk Tom Brady and Deflate in the same category talking to me. I saw what you just tried to do.
You see what I snuck that one behind you?
Yeah, no.
Okey doke.
I'm passing. I ain't deflating shit.
No look.
There goes the deflate gate.
Oh God.
All right, so we're gonna be back next week with episode number 340.
350?
Almost 350.
350.
I might give away a pair of shoes. 350. Give away a pair of shoes. 350. I'm feeling nice.
You just got a couple. Probably have some room to get rid of some.
Oh, did y'all finally do that deal?
Pulling you out.
I found a lot of to get rid of. Trust me.
I'm a size 9.
But episode 348 is next week. As Ridiculous said, fast track at 350. Kadoma couldn't be with us tonight, but make sure you head over to sneakersummit.com for all your details about the upcoming Sneaker Summit in Houston on July 26th. July 10th, we have the Out of the Box Rise of Sneaker Culture opening at the Brooklyn Museum, big time, in America. Establishment hosting this sneaker exhibition from July 10th to October 4th. Tons of surprises and related things going to be going with that we will be very excited to share as things progress further to that day. Most importantly, too, which Sole Doctors, we have some planning to do in the trenches, is a return of social studies. So we're bringing that back after a whole lot of people for a couple of close to a couple of years bugging us to finally get off our asses and bring the class back. So we're going to do it. No holds barred, no holding back. We're going to go ahead and get this done. And so back this summer as well. And, oh yeah. I pull out my oh yeah, D.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Done.
Shout out to ESPN.
God.
If anyone knows this, ESPN. Trying to jack our show from the feet up. Version.
Get your hand.
We got eyes and ears everywhere, ESPN. Jack us.
In the immortal words of Jay and Silent Bob, stay off my Kool-Aid, motherfucker.
Oh, man. So we'll be back next week, episode 348. We're watching. D. Wells, take us out.
Man, it's been good. It's been fun. Make sure you walk with us, talk with us next week for a brand new episode. Until then, keep your laces tied tightly. Yes, and walk.
One.
A man that the girls want to read about. Indeed, I proceed to rock the house without a doubt. Stopping up the next, no further ado. I want to make it real funky for you.